Hello everyone, this is week 3 of e-learning and let's go over our assignments for this week. So right here in our initial post for Monday, I outlined the 4 specific things we need to make sure we're watching out for. Number 1 is reading chapters 4 through 7 of Into the Wild. Remember, I have posted the audio book, which is on here. It's different people reading, but it does have the entire book. Also, the PDF is on here and in our library. Or if you go to YouTube, you can probably find someone else reading these chapters as well. We're also going to be looking at a PowerPoint on song analysis. And on Wednesday, I'm going to put up a poll question that has to do with the PowerPoint, so make sure you're looking at it. Number 3, you're going to be writing a portfolio piece on your very own song analysis. So again, take a look at this one to get inspired for your own. I'm going to open up the submissions for that on Wednesday, so you'll see a blue submit button for your song analysis. And then number 4 is another journal entry. So this journal entry is on paths to happiness. And just like your portfolio piece, you'll be able to submit that starting on Wednesday. So let's take a look at this PDF right here. I'm going to click on it. It's going to open up. And let's take a look at what we need to do this week. So like I said already, still reading Into the Wild, chapters 4 through 7, next chunk of the book. For this week's lesson, this is the PowerPoint on song analysis. So we're going to take a look at activity 4.5 in Springboard and do one of the poems from there. And we're also going to use an example for this week's portfolio piece. So make sure you're looking at this entire presentation and use it to answer the poll I'm going to put up on Wednesday. That's all you have to do for this. There are no other questions to submit or anything else. You're just looking at it and answering that poll. For the portfolio piece, it's all going to be about songs. So you get to choose a song that appeals to you, that you can relate to on a deeper level, that has influenced you in some way. So in this portfolio assignment, you're going to choose a song that's influenced you somehow and conduct an analysis of the song. Instead of writing a full essay or something about the song in general, you're just going to be answering these questions right here in complete sentences. So your first question asks you to introduce the song. Who performs it? What genre of music is it? So make sure you have the title, artist, and link to the song on YouTube. So you can do a music video or just a lyric video. The example I'm going to show you in the PowerPoint is just a still image with the song playing. But if you're doing a music video, make sure it's school appropriate. For the second question, you're going to choose at least 5 different lines and explain why they are significant to the overall meaning of the song. So it doesn't have to be the entire line, maybe it's just going to be phrases from those lines, but you should have several examples to interpret. For number 3, it's asking you to identify some examples of figurative language. Every single song is going to have figurative language. If you're listening especially to rap and hip-hop, there are lots and lots of allusions, allusion with an A in there, references to different people, places, and things. Slang can be in figurative language, metaphors, repetition, symbolism, personification, those all work as well. And for the last piece, you're giving your interpretation of the message. Why did you choose the song? Why does it resonate with you? What does it make it think about? What does it make you feel? Those are different ideas you're going to discuss in number 4. So when you're turning in this assignment, make sure you're submitting it to the portfolio song analysis section of EDSB. In this week's journal entry, it's called Society's Path to Happiness. So still make sure you have a paragraph or more when you're writing your journals. And our prompt is down here. So it says in chapters 4 through 7 of Into the Wild, the reader flashes back to the start of Chris McCandless's long journey from his college graduation to his final destination in Alaska. He meets new friends along the way, creating the same lasting impressions revealed after his death in chapters 1 through 3. Each opportunity gives him a different view of roles in society. So all the people that he's meeting in chapters 4 through 7, it's showing him different ways people have been successful, different ways that people have thought about living their life, and mostly looking at adults as well. So we have Jan Burris and her boyfriend, so they are mentioned. They pick him up initially as a hitchhiker, and they introduce him to the ways of tramping, which is basically not having a set place to live. They call themselves rubber tramps, which means rubber being tires hitting the road. They have a car, whereas Chris was hitchhiking on foot. They later meet up at a nomadic camp known for hippies and the dropouts of society. So that's the role, that's the path that they decided to take. Chris also meets a straight-laced Ronald Franz, an older man struggling after the death of his family, who encourages Chris to continue on the traditional life path of college, work, and family. So Ronald Franz, he is quite old, but he's still very active. He also teaches Chris leather work. He lets Chris live with him for a time. He also has kind of adopted troubled teens in the past and helped them find their way. So that's the kind of path he has chosen to live. In the midst of his dangerous solo travels, he also finds temporary stable work at a McDonald's, of all places, and among Wayne Westerberg's rowdy group of grain mill workers. So you might remember Wayne Westerberg from the first couple of chapters. He is the boss who has a bunch of people working for him who work temporarily whenever they need to harvest grain. So it's more like seasonal work. So in your entry, write about Chris's socially acceptable paths to happiness or success. So maybe think about, oh, his family clearly wanted him to go to college, or they think he's going to get this type of job, or they think he's going to live in this kind of way. Include specific connections to Chris's experience in these chapters, as well as your own observations and experiences in life. So some of these might overlap a little bit with the Venn diagram from last week. So you can consider some of the following. Material possessions people care about. So for Chris, is it important in life to have money and stuff? And for you, is it important in life to have money and stuff? You can also think about different ways of living. Does he want to live in a rural place out in the country? Does he want to be in a city with a bunch of people? Does he want to be just traveling like Jan and Bob, moving from place to place? And what do you think? Different ways of working. I, for example, as a teacher, have a very stable job. It stays pretty much the same from year to year, and it's a set amount of money and set amount of expectations. But other people prefer temporary jobs where they finish a project and move on, or even part-time jobs so they have more time to do other things. Also consider education and skills. Does everyone need college? When Ronald Franz first meets Chris, he assumes he's a lot younger, he assumes he's maybe a high school dropout, but Chris has actually graduated college, but isn't using his degree at all. So consider that as well. You can submit this assignment in the Journal Paths to Happiness section of Edsky. Remember, if you're keeping an ongoing journal, like you should be, you can just submit this entry as a screenshot. So just take a screenshot on your phone if you're using like the Notes app, or you can type it all up in the text box. Again, it should be a paragraph, not just a sentence. Or if you wrote it down on paper, take a picture of what you wrote and you can submit it that way. So those are our overall assignments for this week. I will include another screencast going over our PowerPoint that gives you some more examples for our song analysis. Have a good one.